Should have actually told them next door actually that the fire alarm's gone off.
That's okay. That's okay.
Hi, I'm Dan Jackson. Welcome to my channel, Dan's the Engineer. In this episode, I'm on site and going to show you a little install that's been done for a building that's quite complicated. There's 3 different buildings or 3 different parts of this building that require detection and they need to be interlinked, which has been picked up on fire risk. So first of all, I want to say thank you very much for everybody who's subscribed to my channel. I'm now on 300 subscribers. Please, if you watch these videos, please hit the subscribe button, and there's also a bell you can click at the bottom there to get those notifications so you can see the videos when they become live. This building is a little bit complicated. You've got 2 retail sections. You've got a tattoo place and you've got a dental place next to it. They have a shared back of house area where they've got facilities. So effectively, arguably it's one building you can walk through. There's 2 different fire exits. So I'll walk you through in a minute. But what we've got next to them, so we've got tattoo, dental, then we've got a restaurant next to it. And that's the confusing part, because the restaurant also goes above the first floor, which also spans over the dental section as well. To add further confusion, above that, on the second floor, you've got living accommodation. So people have to walk down the restaurant areas for a fire escape route, and there's also an external escape route as well. But to add even more to that, above where I'm standing in now, which is on the end, the right-hand end, we've got living accommodation on the first floor and the second floor, which is singular flats above there. So we've got all these different elements of fire risk. And if there's a fire to occur in this building, it could spread next door, it could spread up. So we need to evacuate the whole building as such if there were a fire. So I've been called in by the client's representative, which is Andy Cunningham. I'm doing a video on him soon regarding his product, the Multi-Watch. I'll put a link in the descriptions below, and there'll probably be a link above to that when it comes live. Fire alarm system has been designed in terms of the category and grade and what have you, but I've been asked to how we can interlink the systems together to achieve the result they're looking for. So let's go find Andy. He's here somewhere. So as you can see, we've got a back of house areas. They all sort of share. We've got a kitchenette, and now we're into this other retail unit I've just walked through, so effectively it's one building. So here's Andy. How you doing, Andy?
Hello, guys.
So Andy's the client representative. We've been called in to commission a fire alarm system and come up with an idea or how to interlink the different buildings. I've just explained. Okay. There's a bit of a confusing building. So can you sort of explain the issues we've got with this building?
Well, to be perfectly honest, there's a restaurant next door that's got some sleeping risk.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of distance, a lot of meterage between the from where the sleeping risk was to the front door of the building, which the fire brigade wouldn't allow, and rightly so. And then, but equally compartmented, it's very, very poor.
Yeah.
So the restaurant actually shares above this retail area.
Yeah.
And then next door, which is also shared, there's some flats above that as well. So really, we needed to integrate the three buildings, but link them all so they all talk to each other.
Yeah. What Andy's done, he's come to me and said, we want these. It's actually 3 system, isn't it? So because we've got we've got this system, we've got restaurants, and the flats above the restaurants.
So we've got 2 retail, we've got 1 restaurant.
Yeah.
Although the restaurant's shared above the retail. Yeah. And also flats
above that. And that's the thing. One thing that concerns a lot of clients is about redecorating in how extensive the work can be. There's radio systems out there that are, good enough. They do the job. So effectively,
and they comply.
Yeah, they comply. Yeah, exactly. What we've done is in the flats, it comes under part 6.
Yes.
So there's an Aico wireless system in there, which it consists of. We've just got the radio devices, which we install loads of them. They're a bit of kit.
Yeah.
So we've got those. That comes under part 6. But then the restaurant and the retail units here, they come under part 1. Arguably, the flats come under part 6. However, we've installed them on the part 1 system because effectively they all share a same escape route.
Yeah.
So it's quite confusing. But the idea here is that Andy's come to me. He said, this is what we want. This is the category. And that's what's required. So Andy's team, they've assessed the risk and what's required. He's come to me and said, design a system other people are installing the system, we're commissioning, but that's the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. We had the, it was deemed a risk through the fire risk assessment.
Yeah.
And we were being in conversation with the fire authorities, who pretty much class this as a high risk building, because it is a shared building, but it's got 3 different entities in it.
Yeah.
So that's why I've obviously spoke to Dan. This is what we've got, what can we do? So we put a design to it, agreed it all with Dan, and Dan's fitted it all out and completed it for us.
And I would show you exactly what we've done in terms of connecting it all up, but I'm just going to explain anyway. Within the 2 retail units here, the dental and the tattoo, so it gets confusing. This is how confusing the building is. We've got a Kentech panel, and we've got Apollo devices, and they're connected. So it's quite a small loop actually. There's only a handful of, I think there's 28 devices all in all. So we've got that in that building, and that acts as a standalone system. In the restaurant, we've adapted the existing system, so we've reused the cabling, and it was already a zonal, non-addressable system. So we've used a Kentech alarm system and just changed all the devices and just swapped them over. And there's been a few added as well, because there was areas that didn't have detection.
Yeah, lack of coverage, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we've also got the Aico system in the flats above, which are all radio. So I'm just going to take you to the panel here. And what I will say is that we still got to put zone charts up. So before you point it out, don't start because it's not finished. So what we've got our Kentech fire alarm panel, which is a 1-loop Synchro AS. We've got this I/O here, which is dedicated to the Aico alarm interface. Great bits of kit. So what happens is, when this fire alarm panel or system goes off, our interface gives a signal to the Aico. So if there's a fire in the retail units, it then tells the Aico system that there's a fire, and it will trigger that as well. So when there's a fire here, it will go off up there. Now vice versa, if there's a fire in the flats upstairs, the Aico detectors, they also trigger our system down here, and it's all non-latching, and we've had to do it like that because of access. So if there's any issues, that everybody, everything can sort of reset itself on their side, and that's all been agreed with the client. So when the Aico goes off, if for whatever reason it was a false alarm, they managed to silence the alarm, they press silence, it then silences our panel down here, and it all turns off automatically. Unless of course a fire was there and it spread, it will go back into fire. So it's not like when you press silence, it stops everything, it will automatically go back into fire. Now likewise, what we've got in the restaurant area, we've got a 3-channel I/O. We've done it there just in case future proofing we want to include any faults or anything like that on the system, but for now it's just set up for fire. It works in the same way. If our system here goes in fire, it activates the I/O, which is connected to their fire alarm panel. So that gives it an input, and we've actually done it via one of their zones, and we've made the zone non-latching as well. Now that is a variation to the regulations, but again, it's been set up, and that's what the client agreed, and I think it's the way forward as well. So, because the problem, if you don't set it to non-latching, the problem is that you have to silence this panel and that panel next door before you can both reset, whereas this, it's done, when you silence this, it turns the restaurant off, and vice versa. So when the restaurant goes off, it sets our main panel off here, and this in turn tells the flats upstairs. So if there's a fire at any point in any of this whole building collectively, it'll activate the alarms everywhere, and when it's silenced at the relevant system, it'll automatically silence and reset itself. Basically, we call it a 1-out, all-out system. Fire alarm goes off, everywhere gets known about it. Now the only issue we have got, access in the middle of the night, if no one's in a restaurant, no one's in the retail areas, and there's an activation, then the people in the flats, they can't silence the system because they can't tamper with this system, they can't get in, they haven't got access, and they haven't got access to the restaurant. But that's not a problem, because that's how the client is going to have to manage their responsibilities of getting someone to site to turn the panels off and so forth. But again, any fire alarm system requires human interaction. So that's for the client to manage, and I don't see it being a high risk anyway, because it's very unlikely that there's going to be a false alarm. It's not like call points are going to be damaged or anything like that, because no one's going to be in the building. Now you can get the odd false alarm, obviously it does happen, but also the detectors we use, the way we install and where we install them reduces our false alarms. One other thing I want to point out, and that's why Andy's here as well, is we've got a couple of Lite-4-Life emergency light units here. Now what happens on this system also additionally in the retail units is the Lite-4-Life emergency lights are interfaced with a fire alarm. So when the fire alarm goes off, the lights turn on, so you can see where you've got to get out. And there's a couple of them dotted out back as well, and we'll do a little demonstration of how they work. So we'll set a call point off and we'll show you what the emergency lights do. So they're very, very, very simple. We've got an IO up in a void, so when that activates, it tells the emergency lights to turn on. Shouldn't that happen with emergency light? It makes sense, doesn't it? So
it's all part of lighting the means of escape, really. You know, just making it making it simple. We can flash them, although we haven't done so, but we tend to flash them on the final exits to educate people to get to the flashing light.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different standard. It's an innovative standard, and we feel it works very well.
Yeah, well, we've been doing a bit of work with Lite-4-Life. Fantastic bit of kit, fantastic idea. It makes sense. Emergency light that you interface with a fire alarm system that turns on in the event of a fire. Because normally, what happens, the only thing that usually turns on emergency lighting is a mains failure. But you could have a fire, full-blown fire. Absolutely. And it has a cut out mains.
Yeah, we've taken it to a different level. We've it's just an interface pair of contacts straight off a fire alarm system. It can be interfaced into security, so it can be integrated into gas valves or anything like that. So if you've got any onerous issues anywhere and you wanted a visual notification, we can link a Lite-4-Life unit into it. Okay. It's very, very simple but very effective.
Right, I'm just going to do a quick demo then on the fire alarm and also look at the Lite-4-Life when it comes on. So we've got our Lite-4-Life emergency unit up here, got our signage, and here's our call point. So I'm just going to set that off. Fire alarm's going to go off. Reset. And you can see the lights come on. So as you can see there, really nice and simple. Fire alarm goes off, emergency lights turn on. Obviously it's quite bright, you could see that here today, but it might not be. We've been working here late nights, early mornings, stuff like that. You haven't got that much natural light out the back areas. So fantastic idea. Again, if you want to speak to Andy about his product and his company, just go on www.lite4life.com. But what happened there with the fire alarm is that the restaurant would have gone off and all that system, all the flats and the individual flats upstairs, so everything's gone off together, and when I press silence and reset, it's all reset itself and gone back to normal state. What I like about this project is that a client has come to us with a problem. They've identified that the building isn't straightforward in terms of fire risk and fire strategy, and they've come to us and said, what can you do for us? How do we get around this problem? And we've come up with a very simple, doesn't even cost that much system that integrates effectively 3 different systems. So that's always something to think about. It's not just individual buildings, because ultimately if we'd done it as 3 systems and didn't integrate them together, then a fire would only be detected in that individual building. It wouldn't alert the next building until the fire spread, which, as we know, is too late. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I'm trying to get some more subscribers, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.